This is a meatloaf made with just 300 grams of ground beef, cooked in an air fryer, using 5 ingredients. It takes about 20 minutes from start to finish, and it's one of the easiest carnivore meals you can make when you're short on time and don't want to deal with a pile of dishes afterwards. It's juicy, it holds together, it actually tastes good, even without the breadcrumbs, ketchup, or any of the usual stuff that gets added to a traditional meatloaf. And the best part? It reheats beautifully, so if you make a double batch, you've got meals sorted for the next day too. If you're on carnivore, or even just leaning high protein low carb, this kind of a meal is a lifesaver. You don't need to meal prep, or batch cook, or spend hours or some complex process. You mix everything in one bowl, shape it, and let the air fryer do the work. I make this at least once a week. I switch out the meat sometimes or add different fats depending on what I've got in the fridge. But the method stays the same. Simple ingredients, quick cook time, and solid results. Let's start with what you'll need. 300 grams of ground beef. I usually go for 80-20, something with a bit of fat in it. If it's too lean, it won't be as moist and you'll lose a lot of flavor. If all you've got is lean ground beef, that's fine. Just make sure to add a bit more fat later. 2 eggs. This is what helps the meatloaf hold together. You could get away with 1, but I find that using 2 gives it a better texture, especially when you're cooking in a tray like this. 50 grams of grated parmesan. This is optional, but I like to include it. It gives the loaf a bit of firmness and a slightly salty flavor that works really well with beef. If you don't do dairy, you can leave this out, or replace it with crushed pork rinds for a similar result. About a half a teaspoon of salt, or to taste. I usually keep it simple with just salt, but if you're in relaxed carnivore territory, a pinch of garlic powder or some black pepper can also work. And 1 tablespoon of butter. You can also use beef tallow or any other animal fat, but I like butter for this one. It melts into the loaf while it cooks and makes the whole thing more flavorful and less dry. Once you've got all the ingredients, mix them together in a bowl. Start with the eggs, salt, and parmesan. Stir those just to combine, then add the beef and butter and mix everything together until it's uniform. You don't need to overdo it, just enough to make sure that the ingredients are evenly distributed. Overmixing makes it dense, and we want this to stay tender inside. Now, shape it into a loaf. I'm using a small tray that fits directly into my air fryer basket. You can also use silicone molds or just shape it by hand on a parchment paper. But I find the tray gives a cleaner result and helps it cook more evenly. Press the mixture in and smooth out the top. It doesn't have to look perfect. What matters is that it's compact and even, so it cooks through consistently. Before we cook, here are a few things you can tweak next time you make it. If you're using chicken instead of beef, double the butter. Ground chicken tends to dry out faster. If you want a crispier top, add a little grated cheese during the last 2 or 3 minutes of cooking. If you're skipping all dairy, you can still make this with just meat, egg, and salt. It'll be a little softer, but it still holds together if you let it cool properly. Set your air fryer to 180 degrees Celsius or 360 degrees Fahrenheit and cook the loaf for about 18 to 20 minutes. The exact time will depend on the shape and thickness and also on your air fryer. I start checking it around 17-minute mark. While that's cooking, I want to take a minute to talk about something I've been putting together behind the scenes. I'm planning to start a new series on this channel, either weekly or every other week, where we go beyond just recipes and dive into some deeper topics around the carnivore lifestyle. Still simple, still practical, but a bit more reflective. I've been playing with a few name ideas: Meat for Thought, The Carnivore File, or Eat Meat Think Deep. Not sure which one I'll land on yet, but if any of those jump out to you, let me know in the comments. The idea is to make it a one-stop shop for information. Part personal experience, part research, and always open-ended. I don't want to push anything as the ultimate truth. My goal is to lay things out clearly, bring in helpful context, and let you come to your own conclusions. Each episode will also include a small Q&A section, so if you got questions about carnivore, about food, about sticking with it, or anything else, drop them down in the comments and I'll start pulling from those as the series takes shape. The first episode is slowly in the making, just wanted to give you a heads up on that it's coming. Alright, so once the meatloaf is done, you should see a light crust forming on the top, and the loaf should feel firm to the touch. If you're using a meat thermometer, aim for around 70 degrees Celsius in the center. If you don't have a thermometer, you can just slice gently into the side to check for doneness. The center should no longer be pink, and the juices should run clear. And here's the step that most people skip. Let it rest. 5 to 10 minutes before slicing makes a big difference. If you cut into it right away, all the juices run out and you end up with dry meat. Give it time to settle. It's worth it. Once rested, slice it up and serve. It holds together beautifully, and the texture is firm but still moist. You'll notice the butter has melted throughout the loaf and given it that rich, savory flavor you just can't get from lean meat alone. You can eat this as is, but if you want to level it up, try serving it with a little cheddar cheese sauce or drizzle a bit of warm bone broth over the top. If you got some leftovers, slice them and pan fry the next day. The edges get crisp and it tastes even better than the first time. This recipe is one of those quiet workhorses. It doesn't go viral, but it gets made over and over again because it just works. You don't need to shop for anything special, and there's no prep that takes more than 5 minutes. If you're new to carnivore or just want to eat simpler, this is the kind of thing that keeps it sustainable. If you try this one, let me know how it turns out, and if you want more recipes like this, the kind that are actually doable and don't waste your time, go ahead and subscribe. I've got a few more air fryer meals coming next that I think you're going to like. And that's it. I'll meet you here next time on Meet Carnivore.